Welcome back. You're still watching DAYBREAK on this 18th day of November 2025. It's just about 9 days to the by-elections in 6 constituencies, 1 county, and in total 24 areas in the country. That is inclusive of the wards that will be electing their representatives to different county assemblies after those that held those offices passed on. And that is majority of them, and also will be replacing some that were nominated MCAs and need to be replaced. Now, at the same time, we're waking up to the news on the dailies. Hackers Paradise is the main story that is on the Daily Nation about cyber criminals who yesterday made several government websites, including State House, inaccessible and defaced pages by altering their visual appearance and content in yet another major security breach. The story is captured there with a series of, or the timelines of different attacks that the country has faced from March 2016 up until July 2023. And yesterday is 17th November 2025. And then you'll see that other story about why NAT and primary heads oppose elevation of junior school teachers. And then on the front page of the Standard, the main story is the police bribe racket that is taken off from that report by the EACC that was surveying the National Police Service and gave a report indicating that there is a culture of extortion, that junior officers have targets set for them by senior officers. Money is collected, especially in the traffic department, and it is paid upwards, cascaded to the bosses at different police divisions. And then EACC is recommending that actually that traffic department should be abolished and instead have different police officers trained that they can be occupying those roles or playing those roles at different times on rotation basis. So that's how the papers are looking like. One bit fast, women forced to track miles as water sources dry up is another story that is on the Standard. And Kenyans still seeking answers on Keen, missing after Dar poll chaos is another story. And the coverage continues, also including the developments in Tanzania, where the recently sworn-in President Samia Suluhu is already appointing government ministers and deputy ministers, including some that are family members. A daughter appointed deputy minister and her husband appointed minister in that country. Now this morning we have a conversation about the Kenyan affairs, and I have in studio Nelson Havi, who is the former president of the Law Society of Kenya. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I saw you resign from UDA.
Yes, I did resign from UDA.
Why that development now?
Well, it's time to make progress,
yeah.
And that vehicle is one that cannot propel any credible candidate to the destination that the voters want. And this being an enterprise that is fully participatory of the people, I deemed it prudent to resign in good time. Yes.
So have you joined any new party?
Not yet. I haven't joined a party, but I'm in the process of looking for a party.
You're looking for one?
Yes.
Okay. All the best with that.
Thank you, sir.
Fredo Kango is a strategic advisor and recently joined the ODM party. How's been your welcome?
Very nice. It feels very nice to be in the Orange movement.
Okay.
And maybe I would encourage my good friend Harvey.
Yes.
Instead of looking for another party,
yes,
come to the ODM. Because that's where the movement is. Yes.
And indeed, there's a lot of movement there.
Yes.
We'll be talking about it. There's a bit of hit that is coming up there. Robert Mbo is the Member of Parliament for Kathiani constituency and also the Deputy Minority Leader at the National Assembly. Good morning.
Morning, Sam.
You are peaceful at Wiper?
Yeah, very, very peaceful. I just wanted to ask Fred which faction of ODM is he part of?
There's only one faction.
There are very many we can see.
Okay, we'll talk about that. And of course, Senator Kongo Mogeni from Nyamira County is in studio. He'll be joining us on set in a few seconds to a minute. I want us to talk about, because we saw the president in Ukambani unveiling some few projects and also making certain sentiments. We'll hear what he said, but before we do that, Mheshimiwa Mbui, talk to us about your experience. I didn't see you there, but I saw some of your members there, the likes of Senator of Makueni and the governor. The development tour, what has it achieved for your region?
First and foremost, Sam, let me just say thank you for having me here. The president's tour was a political campaign, trip. And unfortunately, our president is very well known for politics. Remember, he was on the campaign trail from 2017 up to 2022. He hasn't changed. I thought that once he is ascends to office of president, he would remain in his office and probably try and figure out how to support the citizens. But he was out there on a campaign trail, spent all that time, launching a bridge, launching transformers, launching all sorts of things. But unfortunately, what we were left with is the insults hurled at us as leaders of that region. And unfortunately, by just doing that, he has completely sidelined that community. That community is annoyed with him. That community is very disappointed in the tour because what we thought was a development tour ended up being a campaign tour and ended up also being an insults competition. He did indicate that the leaders from that community have no brains. Unfortunately, one of our members had to tell him off openly and publicly, which wasn't even a good thing, because the member for Makueni actually told him she's very disappointed for him to say that leaders from the region are brainless, yet she actually is a master's degree holder. So I don't know who is advising the president when he's going out to do these things, because he would have achieved much more had he kept off the politics and of course the excessive promises. In Machakos, he was talking about the number of housing units he will build and the number of billions that he's going to spend. And every time he opens his mouth, the number of billions, if you keep adding them up, I mean, he's committed to this country for the next 20 years. So I don't know how he's going to achieve all that. But other than that, I think, personally, I was very unhappy.
Yeah.
When you insult the elected leaders from the community, in essence, the people you're insulting are those that vote for them. So when you come and say that all of us, elected under Wiper, we have no brains, it means that the people that elect us under Wiper are the ones that have no brains because they chose people without brains. So I think he's just insulted the whole community.
Yeah.
And 2027 is around the corner. He's going to get payback.
So when you talk about a project that he has unveiled, and karibu sana Senator Okongo Mogeni.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So Mheshimiwa Mbui, as you speak about the projects that he promised to bring, the other billions you call them, are these things that you have allocated resources for in Parliament?
No, not at all. I mean, that's a beauty with William Ruto. He will pull water out of a rock, because the kind of things he was talking about, the kind of promises he was making, the budgetary allocations are not there. So I don't know how intense. But you see, the last time we were here in the studio, and I can't remember who was here, he said, but those things are not to be done now. Some of them are, there's a plan, they can be done even into the next term. One of the panelists here did say that a while back. And so I think that's what the script is. He just promises they'll be eventually done, but most likely not by him, because he's serving one term and leaving office.
So the question I'm asking, how binding is that promise?
No, it's not binding at all. I mean, it's like, some of the things he was launching. I'll tell you how government works sometimes with these projects. Some of the roads that he's launching now were launched by my party leader when he was vice president. And the money was not, the projects didn't start.
What is to launch?
To launch is to go and, it's a promissory note that we intend to do this road. So then now you organize for the funding, you organize for the procurement. So basically there's a lot of that's going on. There's a road in my constituency that William Ruto launched in 2017. And up to now, it's never been finished. In fact, now he's been in office 3 years. It's only about a month or two ago, when he knew he's coming on a tour to the region, that he paid the contractor the part of what he was owed so that he could go back to site. So basically, I mean this is politics. I can tell you, this is politics. This launching of projects is actually a political gimmick.
Let's hear what he had to say while on tour of that region, some matters that border on politics.
Mwe, obetwe, changendu, hiyo ni upuzi. Ama namna gani bwana? Kwani mimi nataka niulize wewe, kuna mtu anasherehekea umaskini? Ati changendu? Ati kuna maskini jeuri? Umaskini ishindwe? Ama namna gani? Hatutaki umaskini Kenya hii. Kama mtu anataka umaskini apeleke kwake. Mambo yao ni matatu. One term, Kasongo, must go. Sasa mimi nataka niwaulize. Hiyo ndio siasa yao inaishia hapo. Inaanza kwa ukabila, inaenda kwa matusi, inafikia kwa kupingana. Sasa leo wanapinga housing, wanapinga soko, wanapinga model ya elimu, wanapinga SHA. Tuko na vikundi viwili tashindana kwa hii uchaguzi. Team forward na team backward.
Team forward and team backward. Senator Mogeni, let me get to you first because you represent the county of Nyamira. These trips or visits the president has made, and at every stopover there's a promise of what is to be done. Have you been able to pursue some of those promises in your county and region?
Yeah, I think first, thank you, Sam. First, you know, we passed a very progressive constitution in 2010. And budget process making, or how to allow expenditure from the government towards development is not a preserve of the president. Honorable Mbui is here. He will tell you that budget making process is a very rigorous process that begins way ahead of the the day the budget is made. So it's not a preserve of the president. In fact, what the president should be telling Kenyans when he makes those tours is to say that through our parliament, this amount of money has been allocated to undertake a certain project. That is how civilized countries work, and that's how we should operate as a country. But I can tell you, going back to my account, there are many promises that have been made by the president that have not seen the light of the day. Last time, I think it was a deputy president, we were burying the late Henry Obocha. We had, the burial was held at Sironga grounds, just opposite Sironga Girls. And I remember him telling the people of Nyamira that when we passed here during the campaign, we had promised that we are going to tarmac a road that is supposed to go from Tinga, Igenaitambe, down to Nyachogochogo, and then go to Magombo, and then come to exit on the Kisii-Nyamira road. That has never been done. The other day he came, he repeated the same promise that we are coming to tarmac this road. So those promises oftentimes, they are just campaign gimmicks. And I don't think I hear the president nowadays telling Kenyans that he wants to transform us from third world to first world. You can go back, sit and read history. None of those countries have followed this path of making pronouncements from rooftops. What we should be doing as a country is to sit and we have Vision 2030. We work on mid-term plans of 5 years. We normally get requests from the departments, ministries, and then the budget sits, the Budget and Appropriation Committee of the National Assembly sits. The departments will come, the ministries will come, they will defend their budgets, and then they get an okay from Parliament. That's how we allow our expenditure. It's not a matter of you making a delegation to State House and then you tell the president, I want you to approve this project. No, look at the budget line. You will not see a budget that has been set aside for presidential development plans. Maybe Mbui can tell us if there is such a line in our budget. So Mbui, all that we are saying is politicking. It's very unfortunate. Just do an audit of the president's diary for the last 14 days. And you'll see a president who has not sat down in an office to discuss with his technocrats how to move the country forward. His main preoccupation is to campaign. He's on campaign mode. If you hear him
and therefore, Senator, is there any mechanism, because yes, the constitution is described as also a constitution of accountability. Is there any mechanism of ensuring that the president is accountable for his actions and words?
You know, unfortunately, the best mechanism is to wait for him in the ballot. You know, former President of Law Society will tell you that for the time he's in office, he enjoys immunity from prosecution. Yeah. So the best you can do is to remind the people that the president you have is a liar. Everything that he tells you is a lie. And you have just asked me a simple question of the promises that he has made even in the county of Nyamira. You make a follow-up, you find there's nothing happening. Now, if you go to Nyamira, you will find several road projects ongoing. Yep. There is 62 kilometers. I can give you one example. There is 62 kilometers of tarmac roads that is ongoing at Borabu constituency. Now, that project was launched by CS Macharia, I think in 2021. And the contractor moved on site, and the work has been ongoing. But last year, when the president visited Nyamira, he again went to Borabu and said, I'm launching this road project. I mean, for the second time. I'm sure when he comes next time, he will come and tell us, I'm coming to open this road project. I can tell you, without playing any politics on this show, that all the road projects that are ongoing in Nyamira and in Kisii were projects that were launched by the previous administration. I have not seen even a single kilometer tarmac road that has been launched by the current regime. The cancer center that you saw him launching in my neighboring county of Kisii was launched by the previous administration. Specifically, President Uhuru Kenyatta came to Kisii and he laid the foundation for that project. But again, the president came, he was there, again launching that project. There is a big interchange roundabout from the road from Migori, Kisii, and then it turns off to Kisumu, and then makes a turn to Kisii. The president was there, again commissioning, I don't know whether to call it commissioning or opening that project. So everything is just politics. It's not something that was initiated by the current regime, has been undertaken and completed by this current regime. And that's how government should work. A government, really, there is always what we call, is it successive succession? Perpetual succession. Yeah. You take office, you will find that projects are there because we have done public participation, we have sought the approval of Parliament, and we want to transform the country. We are not doing this for the president, we are doing this for the benefit of the people. So when you take office, you simply need to manage our resources to ensure that you don't steal our taxes, that the resources that are to be channeled to, to improve our infrastructure, our hospitals, they are all channeled for that purpose. That's all that you need to do as a president. Then you tell us, from manifesto, this will be my plan for the next 5 years, and we should be able to debate it, you bring it to Parliament, and then we proceed. Your scorecard should come in 5 years. Okay. Yeah.
Now, President Harvey, your take on this, because it's continued to be a part of our conversations, that you have all these promises being made, and people are happy. Perhaps genuinely or excited because of the presence of the president. What are they supposed to do with that information when the promise doesn't yield?
What I'm going to say should be evaluated from a literature class. I think we need to establish a commission of inquiry or a task force to investigate the nature of promises that are being given by President William Samoei Ruto. They are near miraculous. And actually, I don't say this from the emptiness of my head. About 2 weeks ago, I saw a clip of a lady, a Kalenjin lady, in a school program. I think it was a prayer day. And at first I thought she was jesting, but at the conclusion, I realized that she was serious. She said, you know, we have the best president. He gives promises that he cannot meet. He makes estimations that are beyond his capacity. But there's nothing wrong. It's a matter of faith. And she said, remember, even Jesus said he will come back. It is over 2,000 years. The chap hasn't come back, but we're not protesting. We're not saying one term for Jesus, you know? We're not saying Jesus must go. You must have faith, you as students and children, you must emulate the president. Then
you need to say end of quote.
End of quote. Then a few weeks later, Jesus himself, reincarnate, said, now this is President William Samoei Ruto, that, you know, Jesus has a very big following and he was just here for 2 years. So I really don't mind if you guys insist on this one-time thing. Permit me to progress. Yesterday, this matter was given legal credence. The Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya stood up in a podium and said, behold, the president is a miracle worker. This Jesus reincarnate was able to travel 700 kilometers within seconds and is here. Now, friends, that depicts in very few lines the problem we have in Kenya. We have promises of a near miraculous nature. There is need for this to be contained. And the containment, as you've put to my former president, Omukongo Mogeni, is one that requires a very serious electorate. An electorate that can call out these shenanigans and say, Mr. President, don't take us for granted. We're not as foolish as that mama speaking in a school. We're not as gullible as the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, who are contented with these promises that you're making to us. Ideally, taking into account that we only have 2 years before the end of this term, there is urgent need now than ever before for the people to project what type of leadership do they want, not only for the helm of leadership at the executive, but throughout all cadres. I think, you know, I'm not as extremely knowledgeable in matters government like this too. But from a simplistic point, this is what the people of Kenya have to see.
Okay, and I think just to be fair to the Chief Justice, she was speaking at an event and said that last night I watched the news and saw you in Marsabit and I was holding my heart with my hands, wondering how you would travel over 700 kilometers to be here this morning. You must be a miracle worker. I'm just saying that to say what she said.
Do you believe in miracles?
And of course, it's been a very busy weekend because the night of, is it Friday or Saturday? The ODM dinner, when was it?
Saturday.
The night of Saturday. He was in Mombasa for the dinner, and then on Sunday he was in Marsabit, and yesterday was in Nairobi, obviously, for that meeting and other engagements. Fred, your thoughts about this? Because I remember the last time that we had you here, you told me that you need to represent the interests of your people. I asked who your people are. You told me they are people in your home county, and also people in Nairobi.
Absolutely.
And that representation, you likened it to their projects that need to be executed. Are there promises that have been made since your realization that have been executed?
Thank you, Sam. I'm very happy that on this panel we have got 2 presidents. Very interesting. And I'm also very happy that I think Harvey reads his Bible, but where he goes wrong, I think it is blasphemous to say that William Ruto is Jesus reincarnate. But anyway, having said that, I think, Sam, it is true that there are projects that have been initiated and have never been completed. That is a challenge with any president. But in access to services, I believe that the president work closely with other state organs that must ensure that, you know, there's reasonable access to those services in all parts of the Republic, so far as that is appropriate.
So, what organs are those?
Any other state organ, maybe whether it is CARA, whether it is, whether it is a ministry, whichever it is, that is tasked with ensuring that there's delivery of that service. So, when you look at some of these projects, the major launched projects, housing investment, road infrastructure, water and dam, all of them, they're projects that the public need, the people need them. Now, President William Ruto, who President Harvey here campaigned for during 2022, because
when will you ever move on?
As we were on the other side, I'm just giving facts, Harvey. I mean, you did campaign for President Ruto. And Harvey and the team told us that they believed in a better agenda. bottom-up economic approach. That was their manifesto. That is the manifesto that President Ruto has moved with. When President Ruto goes to, and I'm not here to defend anything, but I'm here to speak the facts. When he goes to the rural areas in Makueni, in Homa Bay, in Kisii, in Nyamira, in my opinion, he is trying to reach to the people at the bottom and telling them, I am here to align my manifesto with you and tell you that I'm able to deliver to you. That is what I think. However,
align what?
However,
align what?
To align his ideas with the manifesto that he promised and campaigned on so that he can deliver to them. However,
3+ years later,
yes,
still aligning a manifesto.
Yes, and I can tell you, that's why some of these projects have not been completed. Because you see, if we have a manifesto, like the one Harvey and Tim wrote, and a manifesto that is heavy on development, and there are no resources to implement it, then chances are high that there will be challenges in the implementation. So in my view, I think the president is right to be in every village, to tell the people that he is present and is still willing to deliver on his manifesto. Number two, there's the element of political presence.
What value does what you just said serve?
Sam, I'm just trying to tell you what I observe, because that is my observation. To be present
and remind people he is present.
Absolutely. Because
and ready to implement the manifesto.
Correct.
What value does that serve?
The value that serves is a political presence. The political presence, because we have got very few years to election. And any serious presidential contender should go to the people and be on their faces. Whether those projects are implemented or not is another story. But what is important to the public is that, is there any opportunity that they can believe in what has been done and what is supposed to be done in the remaining times? Because that's how
you're actually convinced of what you're saying.
Let me just finish. Let me just finish. You see, my colleagues here are taking a side that they are right to take. But I'm making an observation. Because even them, if they were in that office today, I can guarantee you, they would do the same thing. So the challenges and risk of implementation are a big risk to anyone.
Nelson, your mic is
anyone. It is a big risk to anyone, including President Ruto. Where he has succeeded, he has succeeded. Where he has faced challenges, he has faced challenges. What is supposed to be done is to ensure that whatever has not been implemented must be implemented. If not him, by the government that will come the next. If it is him, it must continue. Because within 2 years, you cannot tell me that some of those mega projects will be implemented.
I almost called you Harvey.
No, Harvey is here.
Fred,
it's a miracle.
Look, you're saying that the president has a right to be in the faces of the people.
Yes,
to visit the villages for political presence.
Yes, that's right.
Do you realize the weight of a presidential declaration to the people listening to him in the villages?
Yes, and that's why I say there is a challenge. When you make those declarations and they do not happen, then it becomes something that people are not happy about. So I'm saying, what are the challenges that are causing this?
No, away from the challenges, the president has an undertaking. He has a responsibility to ensure whatever he says is worth that statement itself.
But also remember, Sam, any presidential decision must be signed and sealed. So if those are not signed and sealed, then they remain politics like any other person. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. This is an observation I've made.
So you're
the observation is very clear that any serious person who wants to run for office in Kenya will go back to the people and tell them that I have got these projects that I must finish. I have got this project that I started. I have done 1, 2, 3. How can we work together?
So if it's not on paper, how is it binding on the next government?
You see, Sam, it is not binding if it is not on paper. And that's why I think Senator Mogeni and Harvey say that governments are in perpetual succession. So there's somebody who must ensure that whatever is not done is done. And if that person is President Ruto, then he must do it again when he gets back to office. So those are challenges that we must...
promise or execute?
Execute.
Okay.
Execute. So Sam, let me just finish by saying that I believe that in implementation of development projects, as a government, it is only fair that we implement as promised. We follow the manifesto as promised. However, I recognize that President Ruto, like any other president, would face challenges of implementation for one or two reasons. That does not mean that he's a liar. That does not mean so. It just means that there are challenges like any other person. Because we would call, even today, God forbid, I mean, may his soul rest in peace, if Raila was the president, it would be called the same thing. Even if Mbui was the president, it would be called the same thing.
Don't leaders have a responsibility to promise what is practical?
Yes, they do. And that's what the Constitution of Kenya expects of them in Article 73. They do. But these are realities. These are real politics, that some of those things are not possible. Harvey here, once they were with him on this show, and he told me that you'd want to be president of Kenya. I can tell you, Harvey, even if it were you today, you would face the same challenges.
I've been president before.
Well, you have been president of LSK, not of Kenya. So yes, it is Kenya, but not of the Republic of Kenya.
The K in LSK is Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. President, you would face the same challenges. But how you come out of those challenges is what matters. Okay. So Kenyans want to see how will President William Ruto come out of the same challenges that others have come out through. And if he does do that, then for sure, Kenyans will believe him.
Senator,
I
you
hope
to say something.
Akong, on Sunday, you need to join me for service. So that when you're on this show, you can tell the people what our constitution is expect from our president. You know, Sam, we have had presidents in this country. When Sam tells us that for you to be a performer, you must be in the face of Kenyans, has he forgotten that we had a president, Mwai Kibaki, who was very effective? But I don't even recall seeing the president in Nyamira. I don't think he ever made any visit to Nyamira. But we felt it was still impactful. We still, as a country, felt that President Kibaki was a performer. These countries that the president keeps citing, you go to Singapore, Congo, the president does not need to go to the people every day and tell them what he's doing. People just feel you. The actions of the president are felt by the people. And you know, we have a constitution. I wish we had a copy of this constitution.
I do have a copy.
You should read Article 132, the functions of the office of the president. You know, we are waiting next Thursday. No, I think it's this week actually. This Thursday. The president to come and address the nation. That is the opportunity the president should take to tell. Why was that put in the constitution? Because we knew as a country, we don't even, we don't have the budget as a country to take the president around the country 20 days in a month. Like 20 days, the president is out. You know how much you spend as a country when the president moves out of Nairobi, goes to a county like Marsabit. It's very expensive. The Constitution has assigned functions to the office of the president. And one of them is not to go around. In fact, there are technical obligations assigned to the president. One of it is to chair the cabinet, to direct and coordinate the functions of ministries and government departments. Now, if you spend 20 days in a month out there on a rooftop of vehicles, when are you going to do the functions that have been assigned to you as a president? So I think we need to call out to President Ruto to sit back and look at the mirror and look at the conduct of the presidents who have transformed their countries from third world to first world. What they have done is to sit down, respect the constitutions of those countries, be good technocrats. Not politicians, not being a politician, moving around the country from the first day of the month to almost the last day of the month. That way, Dibal, you are able to create a team that can be impactful to Kenyans. All these other things. In fact, the Constitution says, other than the one address, you can also come to Parliament any other time and address the nation and tell the nation, this is what I'm doing. Sam, you don't need to do what you... It's actually primitive, very primitive, to put the country on campaign gear. Year 3, and we are on year 3.
But
we are on year 3, and we are putting the country on a campaign mode. And I'm telling you, I'm not doing politics, I'm inviting you to tour the country.
I agree.
We have gone back to the the country is deteriorating to the state where we were when Moi left office. Just walk down to Gekomba. Look at the state of the roads there. Go to Nyamira, my own county. We have a fantastic school there, a national school called Nyambari. The roads is full of potholes. I mean, the students were asking, how can a national school have a road that is full of potholes? And these are things...
Maybe the Faculty of Agriculture, they just cultivated that.
Yeah, you know. And you see, in Kibaki's time, Kibaki sat back in office and said, those are the things I expect to fix as your president. And that's what we expect from our president. We host UNEP. Have you walked down the city to see the garbage all over? I mean, those are things that should be of concern to the president, not making tours on rooftops and hurling abuses at some leaders like my good friend Kalonzo Musyoka. I think Kenyans have seen the caliber of a president called William Ruto. What happens in civilized democracies is that this scorecard, at the end of his 5-year term, the scorecard should allow Kenyans to send him packing. That's what happens in any democracy. You make promises, you're not able to fulfill your promises, your manifesto does not become impactful, voters send you home.
Okay. Now, we need to take a break. Article 73 of the Constitution on responsibilities of leadership. I'll read 1A2. That authority assigned to a state officer is a public trust to exercise in a manner that demonstrates respect for the people, brings honor to the nation and dignity to the office.
Yes.
Also promotes public confidence in the integrity of the office. And it's another part, and vests in the state officer the responsibility to serve the people rather than the power to rule them.
Over them.
Article 73 of the Constitution. Read it and tell us what you think about it. You can share your feedback via 22422 at Citizen TV Kenya.
Fred, Sam is talking to you.
Citizen DAYBREAK. We are taking a break. When we come back, we'll be talking about state of political parties, in particular, the wars within the ODM party, the party of Senator Mogeni and Fred Okango.